Somewhere in the world, some militaries demonstrate new robotics with automatic targeting mechanisms that can target enemies without requiring manual controls. These military robots are then tested with automatic tanks that they destroy in seconds. Suddenly, the tables were turned and the robots attacked their own machines, vehicles, and eventually the headquarters, killing the military members. Ultimately, from a heavy smoke, we came to see a strange man named Kuratov, who was once a scientist. It turned out to be his fault. It seems like he was controlling the machines and took the robots with him. Later, an emergency meeting was held in Moscow regarding this recent incident where the leader explained that back during the Cold War, the Soviet Union created a project called Patriot. They considered several members from different communities to experiment on humans and animals to create superpowers that can be used in war. One more project named Module 1 was also developed, in which the scientist named Professor August Kuratov wanted to create such technology that will be able to control any kind of machine wirelessly, but despite all the efforts, the project failed. At that time, one more scientist was working brilliantly on superhumans, Professor Victor, in charge of the Patriot project. When Kuratov failed, he became jealous of Victor's achievements. Thus, for his Module 1 project, and to create superhumans, he stole Victor's research and began his own series of genetic experiments without informing the authorities. Many innocent people became victims of his biological experiments and were killed. The only ones who survived were Arsis, a man who can change into a bear, Xenia, a girl who controls her temperature and can go invisible, Lernik, the man who can master rocks, and Khan, a powerful man with steel. When his actions came to surface, he was sentenced to death by shooting, but he escaped and hid inside the genetics lab and set the bomb for the military officers. Due to several chemical explosions, his body changed genetically into a more powerful and a different creature. He's now unstoppable, and everybody came to know who was behind the recent incident, and most importantly, they will need those superhumans he once made. Only they have power like him to destroy him. The officer ordered Lady General Larina to take the lead and find them. Kuratov, on the other hand, is busy with his moves. He doesn't need to touch anything anymore. With a simple wave of his hand, he can control and drive the automobiles. Larina is given 2 weeks, so she starts to find them instantly through any strange incidents that happened in past years. They resurrect the Patriot project again, and Larina asks the head general what to call the 4 superhumans under a secret mission, to which he calls them Guardians. The team finds many suspicious incidents, and they decide to start over from Armenia, where the stoning man was seen. First, they get Lernik, who was trying to be a hermit to leave his old life. He threatened her with his power if she didn't leave, but she said she was here to take him so he could take revenge. Lernik replied that he already eliminated his every enemy, but she informed him Kuratov is still alive, and he's planning to diminish all of Russia. Only they can help her and take their revenge who turned him into this creature. Without a second thought, he agreed. He helped Larina to find Khan in Kazakhstan. In the middle of the desert, Khan is encountered by some army sent by Kuratov to capture him. But in less than a second, he cuts everything in half, yes, the man as well, and recruit him to the team. He saw his old friend Lernik and understood the purpose, so he agreed to join them, but said it won't be easy to take Arsis. So a pack army investigates him through the jungles of Siberia. Inside his cabin, they found a secret laboratory of his own, but got attacked by the man with a bare face. When he saw Lernik and Khan, he turned back into human form and left for Moscow to get the 4th Guardian. Xenia has a circus to show off her marvelous powers, leaving the people enchanted and making handsome money from it. In the dressing room, she finds Khan, who tried to tell her the situation, but since she lost her memory years ago, she doesn't recognize him. Both Khan and Lernik took a fight and told her that they showed her the moves, confused Xenia, and kept on fighting. Arsis calls her out and tells her that they all used to be friends once and they all possess such powers. And if she wants to know who did this to her and wants to take revenge, then come with them. Xenia shares her struggles with the group, how doctors said her memories will return with time, but it's been 40 years now, and people started to notice that she doesn't grow old, so she needs to keep moving. The head general arrives with the news of tracking down Kuratov with the help of some GPS in the tanks, which Kuratov stole. So, the team got ready for their first mission. When they reached there, the communication devices were cut out. Realizing that Kuratov had jammed their signals, Lorena got worried. It was some old junkyard, but was actually a trap for the team. Xenia turns invisible and tries to enter the building, but she was caught with the sensors and Kuratov's team froze her and captured her. Arsis turns into the bear and fights very well, but he gets trapped. And Khan takes his blades out, cutting every man into half. He moves further until he gets injected and falls unconscious. Lur uses his rock manipulation to take out the enemies until he is faced with his real enemy, who broke his spine and threw him there. When the team couldn't contact the Guardians, Lorena asked to take out the chopper. They find Lernik injured, so they take him back to headquarters. At Kuratov's hideout, he traps the captured Guardians and gives them a choice to join him or die, but they all refuse him. So he gave them 24 hours to make their decision. Kuratov makes his move and takes his theft to the main Moscow City Tower complex, where he plans to control all the machines in the world. News breaks out in the world, and they show the world how citizens are evacuating owing to these developing situations in their city. General turned out to be the betrayal, and he was the one who intentionally sent the Guardians to him so he can make them captives. Kuratov seeks his reward for letting him have what he wanted, but Kuratov, being Kuratov, kills him instantly as he was not of any use now and extracts out the tower to make his plan work. Lernik's back has been broken and is taking time to recover, and Lorena asks him to take care of his health first. He shares how painful it is to live so long, to bury her own daughter and grandchildren. She tried to console him, and they were interrupted by a lady who informed Lorena that a man who claimed to be a scientist and worked at the lab before had come to see her and wanted to talk about something really important. He was Professor Victor, who worked on genetics, comes to help the Guardians in their quest to defeat Kuratov. Professor tells them about the secret lab with Kuratov clone army and tells Lorena that he most probably has the team captured there, and since he doesn't know I'm alive, he wouldn't think about it. Lorena takes a team to free the superhumans, and the professor creates a formula to treat Lur. Lorena tells the group about General Dolgov's betrayal and tells them she is now in full command. Kuratov has stolen the transmitter to take control of the Soviet space station that was built during the Cold War. At the headquarters, the team figures out a plan for Kuratov to take the world's communication and control the world by taking control of the other satellites too, so they send the strike team with fighter planes to take it down. But the force field protects the tower, and military robots take down the strike team. Arsis was waiting for Professor to ask him about his condition and how long he can stay as a monster, and asks Lorena to kill him if he loses his mind. She gives him her word and leaves. Later, the professor was studying Kuratov's clone when he was visited by Kuratov, who killed him there and finally went to enact his plan. Lorena finds the Khan, who unburdens his sorrows of why he joined the Kuratov's experimental series, and tells how he wanted to be like his brother and be the fastest assassin when he asked his brother for a fair match, but killed him when he couldn't control his newfound powers. Knowing they can't be able to take him down this way, the team has prepared special suits for the Guardians to protect them from any possible attack and to be able to amplify their powers. Lernik was trying to handle his new equipment, and after several trials he mastered it. Xenia beautifully learned how to stay invisible even in water, and she can make anything invisible she touches. Arsis gave him an automatic machine gun that is linked to his neural connection and can shoot at his will. They all practiced until they are fully ready. Now they have to take down the transmitter and deactivate the force field. After devising their strategy to take out Kuratov, they left separately to act on it. Lur goes to the parking area to attack the base. Xenia and Arsis take the main road, and Khan takes the air to take on Kuratov when the ground team destroys the force field. Lur takes on the Kuratov's army with his new stone-imbued belt, takes out the military, and controls the narrative even with no rocks around. While Xenia takes the army with her powers, Arsis backs her up and uses his machine gun as needed to clear their way. When the attacks get heavy, he turns to the full bear body, and using his gun and bear powers combined, takes on Kuratov's army and saves Xenia. After defeating the army, Lur, Xenia, and Arsis take a lift to reach the core and destroy the force field. At the same time, military robots take on the airstrike team and hold their own for a while. Lorena goes to Kuratov's secret lab to get the professor, but he is injured and about to die. Seeing him injured, she tries to help, but Professor imparts useful information regarding Guardians that they can combine their powers to defeat Kuratov. Guardians take the bridge between the buildings to reach the core to take it down, but they are faced with the army, who starts to fire at them. Lur makes a shield with his belt and protects his teammates. At the same time, Khan asks the pilot to lower the plane, which he can't because they are already quite close to them. Thus, he jumps and kills the army attacking his teammates, joins them on the bridge, and takes them to the core. At the core, they figure out to short-circuit the core, and while Arsis goes to take the metal, Xenia touches the core to short-wire it so that the core can be destroyed. The process takes the most of Xenia, and she feels lethargic. Afterward, they leave to fight Kuratov, who is orienting the satellite. They attack him, but he beats them with ease. First, he takes Arsis's gun, destroys it, and leaves him unconscious. Lur tries to take him down, but he is too strong for him. Khan tries to attack him but fails too. Kuratov takes on Xenia, but she dodges him and disappears with Lur, and then becomes successful in attacking him and holding him at a place to give a target to Khan, who tries to attack him, but Kuratov frees himself. After taking notice of the broken force field, and when ordered by the higher authorities to launch missiles, Lorena warns the Guardians herself. Khan, who notices the aircraft leaving, binds everyone with a rope, attaches it to the plane, and takes his teammates with him. Meanwhile, the missiles approach Kuratov. Kuratov destroys the plane, and Khan saves his team by dropping them in the water. Kuratov diverts the missiles and laughs at the attempt to take him down, while Lorena finds the team and tells them about the newfound discovery of the professor and how they can combine their power to defeat Kuratov. It can be lethal to them. They take the risk and combine their powers by holding each other and transferring their power to Lernik, who combines them and creates a big blast to take Kuratov down. Meanwhile, Kuratov's satellites orient themselves and are about to launch. Guardian's attack destroys the tower and Kuratov with it, and the satellite powers down before it can be launched. Thus, the world is saved. Newsbreak and informs the public of this good news. People started to relocate to their communities, and the generals took matters into their hands. Lorena and the Guardians are standing at a bridge far from the destruction site where they are saying their goodbyes to each other, and then Xenia says that she is starting to remember her past and said she remembers who gave me the ring she had on her finger. It was from Arsis, but took time to think about it. Lorena tells them they found some more Guardians so the Patriot will not shut down.